Today's topic, we'll talk about the latest first-time home buyer loans that are available in 2020. Home buyers that have questions can always give us a call at 1-800-743-7556 or visit us at fhamortgagesource.com. First and foremost, we're going to look a little bit at the FHA loan. The FHA loan is by far the most popular program that is geared towards first-time home buyers. You're not required to be a first-time home buyer, though, to use this program. It is available to all eligible and qualified buyers. But this is a very popular program in the fact that it has pretty good loan amount limits. Currently, the loan amount limits for the FHA program are $331,760. This is for single one-unit homes in most locations throughout the country. There are higher cost locations throughout California and the Northeast and some other areas in the West that do permit higher loan limits. And you can visit our website to look up the loan limit for your county and to check. But the program, one of the biggest draws, of course, to FHA is that it does only require a minimum 3.5% down payment. And this down payment can come in the form of a gift. It can be gifted from a family member or any eligible source. FHA, like all government loan programs, it's a standard fixed rate loan. There is no early payoff penalties for paying off the loan early or selling the home, moving somewhere else. There's no penalty, and that's the case really with all the government programs here that we'll look at. FHA does have credit score requirements, which can fluctuate a little bit from lender to lender, but generally 580 to a 680 credit score would be what most lenders and banks require for the maximum financing of 96.5%. FICO scores even lower. They can sometimes be approved with a 5 or 10% down payment. Again, if you put more money down, they generally will permit a little bit lower credit score. Home buyers' closing cost with FHA, they can be paid by the home seller up to 6%, which is generally more than enough to cover the closing cost and any prepaid escrow requirements. At the FHA mortgage insurance premium, it's a one-time premium that can be rolled into the loan and added to the loan balance, and that's the way it's commonly done. FHA loans are good for really any eligible single-family home, townhome, or approved condominium. A little bit more on FHA. Again, gift funds are permitted. Eligible gift funds are permitted for down payment, the 3.5% down payment. Non-occupying co-borrowers, meaning if there's a co-signer, first-time home buyer, maybe they need their parents to co-sign on the loan form in order to qualify. That is permitted with FHA. FHA has a really low cash reserve requirement compared to most conventional loan programs. And again, it's a very nice option for first-time home buyers that have little money saved. The next program we're going to look at is the VA loan. This is for all of our present and past military heroes. And if you are eligible and have your VA eligibility, look no further. This is probably going to be the best option for you. Again, this is also, like the FHA loan, this is a government-backed program through the Veterans Administration. And the big draw to the VA program is that it is 100% financing and does not require down payment. Furthermore, VA does not does not have any monthly mortgage insurance. PMI is, most people know that term as PMI, but it's just a form of mortgage insurance, and VA does not have that. Sellers can pay, again, all the VA allowable closing costs for the buyer. VA is more limited on which closing costs the seller and the buyer can pay, but VA does allow all the buyer's closing costs to be paid by the seller, so that even reduces the amount of out-of-pocket cash even more. VA is also secured fixed rate terms, 15, 30-year fixed rate terms with no prepayment penalties. And there are no loan amount limits for VA loans starting in 2020. This applies to first-time use. Okay, so for any veterans that's using the VA program for the first time, there are no loan amount limits. And again, in order to be eligible, you must be past or present military with your VA eligibility. And if you have problems, your certificate, if you have problems with any of that paperwork, we can certainly assist you with that. USDA rural housing loans. This is a very popular program for first-time home buyers as well. USDA is backed by the United States Department of Agriculture and Rural Housing. This program is also, like VA, 100% financing for approved eligible locations. Two things with the USDA program that buyers want to be aware of. USDA is only for, again, approved eligible locations, those locations that are deemed more rural. Don't let that word rural, though, fool you. A lot of times, just even suburbs outside of major cities, they can be approved, areas you wouldn't think. They can be approved for the USDA loan. The second thing with USDA is that there is household income limitations, meaning there's a cap on how much income the household can make. This depends on how many members are in the household, how many dependents are in the household, and other variables. Buyers can look up the income requirements, and again, this can fluctuate based on the county you live in, but there is the one important thing with the income limits is to know that it does apply for all members living in the household, even if they're not on the loan application. But generally, for a household of 1 to 4 members, the income limits are they're around $82,000 gross per year, and that is higher in some of the high-cost areas, more expensive locations throughout the country. Buyer's closing cost can be paid, again, by the home seller, or they can be rolled into the loan with USDA. Let's say the home seller does not want to pay the closing cost. A lot of times the buyer can also just roll in their closing cost and add it to their loan with a supporting higher appraisal. So if the buyer needs $5,000 in closing costs, and let's say the house they're purchasing is $100,000, they want to include that $5,000 in closing costs, they can add it to the loan as long as the house appraises for at least $105,000. Any buyer, again, can apply for USDA. It's not reserved exclusively for first-time home buyers. There are no loan amount limits with USDA. Buyers qualify with this program simply based on their debt-to-income ratios. There's going to be a limit there on how much the loan amount can be, generally based on the debt-to-income ratios. And since USDA has a household income limitation in place, that generally will keep the loan amounts at a certain level, capped out at a certain level. This program, it does have monthly mortgage insurance like the FHA loan. However, it is cheaper than the FHA loan, and there is no cash savings requirement. There's not a requirement on how much money you can have saved. And also, if buyers do want to put money down with the USDA loan, they can certainly do so. They can put down 3% or 5% down payment if they choose to, and that can also come in the form of an eligible gift from a family member, for example. USDA loans, again, are just low secured 30-year fixed rates. Like all of the government programs, government-backed loans, there is no early payoff, or prepayment penalties. Sell and move your house anytime without penalty. Most homes that are for sale that are located in the eligible area, they are approved for financing as long as the house is in overall good or decent repair. It cannot be a house that needs extensive rehabilitation, but if it's in an overall good condition, generally those homes will be eligible as long as they're physically located in a USDA eligible area. The house does not need a special designation from USDA. It can be any home seller that's selling the home, any listing from any real estate company is fine. So it does not have to have a special designation. It just needs to be located in an eligible area. You can look up if you have a property address that you're interested in, you want to find out if it's approved in an approved USDA eligible zone. You can look that address up and it'll tell you yes or no if it's eligible, and you can find those links on the website. There are also good refinance programs that are in place for homeowners that currently have a USDA 502 guaranteed loan. Home buyers that have questions and want to learn more, please reach out to us 7 days a week by calling 1-800-743-7556. Again, visit fhamortgagesource.com for more information. Thank you for listening.